I'm going to briefly just demonstrate the newest release of Grace Priority Requests, which is for Windows. It should run on Windows XP and higher. So this is a standard interface that anybody that's used um, any of the prior request software before should be kind of used to. Pray button, private messaging, add comments. Hitting the add comment button would pop up a new box where we could add a comment. Pretty much standard. Says if there is an existing comment, we can just hit the view comment and it'll change the screen and show on the right hand side. It'll list all the comments that are in there. And here's a couple. So you'll see they'll just keep going and be presented with a scroll, so you can scroll through all of them. If you wanted to reply and add your own comment in there, you can hit the add comment button and you'll get the add comment pop-up box. The main toolbar here, you see the home button, which will automatically take you back to the beginning of all of the requests. It's kind of like paging right here in the record navigation, going all the way back instead of going all the way back manually. It just will take you home. New will present you with the box to add a new request, and you could also do that by Control N or New Request under the File menu. My request will give you a list. I obviously don't have any submitted requests at this time, but if I did, it would be listed in here, and it would be an easy way for me to see and reply to comments and anything. My inbox for private messaging, you'll see I have a couple of test messages in here. If I click on a message, I will get a pop-up that will actually show me and be able to read all the details about the message, as well as an easy way to reply to it. If I want to see my sent messages, I can go to the sent. And good, this is actually taking a while. So you'll see down here, since this is taking a second. It could be because our network connection is busy. It could be because the server is busy. For any number of reasons, it could slow down. It shouldn't ever really fail, but it could take, depending on your system's timeout settings, it could take like 30 seconds, but it shouldn't. But every once in a while, this should happen, but not too often. But you'll see the progress indicator down there. So it's not stuck. It's just going, working through some internet traffic. So if we give that a couple of seconds, and it should just keep going. So we're just going to sit here and wait for a second. No, I'm not pausing it because I want to see how long the longest it'll actually take. So this should be actually worst case scenario. Well, it's actually taking a while this time. There she goes. So that should be about the longest for a bad request, or if the internet's having congestion or something like that. That should be about the longest time it should take, but that should be very rare. But I actually am glad that I got to show you that. So if you see that, don't worry about it. Just give it a minute, and it will go. So here we have the messages that I've sent. I've sent a couple test messages, and just like before, if I click on them, I can read them and see exactly what I sent, when I sent it. Also, when it was read, if it was read, if it wasn't read, it would say unread, and the icon would be different. And just like before, if I sent something or I think that I'm missing something, I can hit the refresh button in here. And you'll see it did the same thing before. That took a while, but now it just took, a split second. See, and it's going to take a minute again. So the server could be quite busy, or I could just have a bad network connection tonight. Who knows? Um, so that's pretty much that. Underneath, you also have the About box, which will give you some information about the program itself, most important which is the version number, um, which could come in handy if you were checking which version. You need to check which version you have. Also, if you wanted to hide, let's say you didn't like the status bar, you want to get rid of it, you can go into View, Toolbars, and you can get rid of the toolbars. Let's bring that status bar back, and you'll see because server time is not your local time. Here at the bottom, you have the approximate time of the server. So you'll see that this message was sent at 8:49:58 on 4/20, which is today, 4/20. And on the server, it's actually 20:59, give or take. It's not 100% accurate. It's guesstimating. Not that that's a real word, but it's guesstimating what time it is. So that should help you, especially when you're in the prayer request and you want to actually see what time somebody sent something. So 4/20, 20:53, so we know this wasn't posted all that long ago. And since this is a beta, not everything is complete or, functional, and not all the options are there. So the only options that we really have underneath options right now is the number of records that are shown per page when you're paging around. If you wanted to see more records at one time, you can change this. The clear all settings button, it's not hooked up right now. Debating whether or not to actually hook that up. We'll see if we find that we need it. So that's still debatable. So there's a couple things that aren't quite, done, and it's not fully polished yet, but it's enough hopefully to give you the idea and get people started. Let me just close that, and it's going to take me back to the home. It does the same thing as pressing the home button. Another thing that's in here is the check for updates. This actually shouldn't work just quite yet. If we click it, we should get a nifty little error message. So that won't quite work. If we go back into the Start menu and go under Grace Bible Software, there's two icons. One is for Grace Prayer Request, the other one is for Grace Updater. If you do select the Grace Updater, you'll either get an error message or you will get this where it will actually check for an update. If you do get an error message and you want it to work, you have to run it as administrator. It's a little, it's not really a bug, but it's one of the things we're working on is the user access control that's in Windows Vista and Windows 7. It's a little tricky to work with, but if you did want to update your software, either make sure that you run the updater as administrator. If you don't know how to do that, I will probably create another video and show you how to do that. And we can hopefully get that fixed in the future so that you do not have to actually manually run it as administrator yourself. It should ask you. But if there was an update, this would check for it and show you and give you the option to automatically install it. But since there is no updates right now, it's just going to tell you no update. So we'll just close that. And that's about the gist of it for now. So enjoy, and please be sure when you do find those bugs and stuff, or if I missed a feature or something, please be sure to let me know.